right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back from that quick commercial break, and we're still in the studio, and I still have with me the amazing Nasima. All right, the first time we spoke about this, we spoke about self-esteem, the impact of bullying on self-esteem, and how kids can handle it, and now the role that we can play as a society, as a third party to alleviate these things. And the second time we spoke about abusive relationships and how to handle it, and you spoke about how we have to share our love.
Yeah,
not
walk
waste it.
away and love yourself.
Oh, of course, walk away and love yourself, which I am absolutely a part of, and I agree with you on. Today we're going to be talking about, now, still about abusive relationships, all right? What do you do when these guys are your family? It sounds easy. That's why I said I would like us to address this and talk about it practically, not just from a place of theory. Some things sound easier than they actually are to do. You know what I mean? How I read a quote somewhere, I think it was talking about, it was saying that sometimes the people that you have to not trust are the people that you love. Sometimes it turns out that the people that you have to decide not to trust and not to invest your time with are sometimes the people that you genuinely love. And that's what I was saying, like sometimes it's not about dependency, sometimes it's about the fact that you share a bond with them, you share a life with them. You know, we're humans, we're social animals, we cannot rule that out, right? Yes, we can be so all independent and so yeah, bro, but at the end of the day, we all want to be loved. And you can love yourself, but sometimes it feels different when it's coming from somebody else, and it's valued, but it has to be healthy love. That's what we're saying on this show. It has to be healthy love. It's not love that puts you down and puts another person above you. You're yourself, and you should be comfortable in that. But what do we do when these guys are your blood? The people that you love, that you've known all your life, that you've shared amazing memories with.
Honestly, like, let's say a family member hurt you. Well, that is not like, I wouldn't call that love. The relationship that I have with that person is not love anymore. It's a bond. Because family is a bond, you know?
Yeah.
Friendship, I wouldn't call that a bond. I would call it, friendship. Sometimes it's dependency, as we said earlier, or like you're attached. But family is there. You cannot change your family. You cannot change your father, your mom, your sister. So honestly, it's a tough one. But you know, in this case, you can't just say, "Oh, walk away," and you know, you will try. You get frustrated, but I think at a certain point it will get too toxic that walking away is always an option. But I think it will take longer time this time to.
I see where you're coming from, and I agree with you. It can be pretty complicated, very complicated, because see, we like I was saying, I used in the last episode when we had to talk, I said human beings are like perfumes, right? And that was my analogy, just to paint a picture. If I'm going to use another analogy to describe humans in this context with the point I want to make, I'll say sometimes humans are like rivers. We don't just fall out of nothing. Yes, you're unique, you're you. You're Nasima, and that's you. There's never been any Nasima that ever existed. You know, you're you and you're unique, but you just didn't fall out of nothing. You know, you're a continuation of a story that once existed before you. And so, meaning that every river has a source. You know what I mean? And so sometimes it's hard when you find out that the very same place where you should find acceptance, love, and unconditional love in that, to even put it more clearly, is the place where you find toxic love, where you find abuse. It can be very complicated. I agree with you. But what do you, have you ever found yourself in a situation like this?
Honestly, never. Oh, of course, in families, you always have tensions.
There's always
and stuff. But honestly, the way I dealt with it is by forgiveness. Because actually, forgiveness does help you move on. Because you know you're still going to see that person. So the only choice that you have to do is to forgive. And then actually it does help you heal and move on, even though that person is still in front of you. But then it depends on you and how you are as a person, what you need, you know? Because some people actually cannot do it, and also how much damage that person has
done to you.
You know, because sometimes the damage is too much that you cannot see that person anymore in front of you. So you walk away. That's why I said you eventually walk away. But that like has levels to it, and we cannot just like there isn't one answer to it. It's
if I'll address it, let me turn it a bit to myself, like to see if I'll address it. I think the first thing would be acceptance. Now, you have to get to a place where you have to sit down and accept to yourself that this is not helping me. A lot of people don't even accept that, you know? There is loyalty and there is choosing to be ignorant, you know, choosing not to focus on it, choosing not to look at it, you know,
choosing
it's like
to be blind.
To be blind, it's a choice, it's denial.
Yeah.
And for better choice of word, it's just denial, you know? So you have to get to that place where you have to sit down and accept and talk to yourself and be like, this is definitely not pro my purpose. This is not pro my existence. This is not why I've been sent here. And these people do not want me to be who I was created to be. Or even if, you know,
it doesn't help you grow.
It doesn't help me grow. You know, it doesn't help me become the purest and the truest form of myself. You know what I mean? So acceptance is key. Now, after acceptance is you need to forgive two people, which we're going to talk about. So stay with us in the other episodes of this season. We talk about unforgiveness. We talk about forgiving yourself and forgiving other people. But for now, so you have to learn to forgive yourself.
And the person who...
And the person. But I said that a lot of people actually, you see, you really cannot truly forgive the other person if you have to forgive yourself for permitting the other person to do it to you.
True.
And sometimes some of these things are not even things you permitted. You just simply had no power to. For instance, you find yourself as a little child in a family like that who has fed you with so much hate, so much self-hate for yourself. I mean, so much self-hate, you know, hate towards you.
Self-doubt.
You know, self-doubt, making you feel like you. Sometimes even rape and abuse, you know what I mean? And at that age, you cannot, because I get to talk to people because of the kind of job that I do. And I see this, right? There was nothing else they could have done, to be honest. Maybe the people that were around them could have protected them and shielded them from those things, but those people themselves, if we really want to be fair, there was nothing. How do you tell a 6-year-old girl to look at her aunt or her uncle and say, I'm not ugly, I'm beautiful? I mean, she doesn't even know. And you see, one thing about kids is that they take things in without filter. So it's what you tell them that it is. Which is why I love kids so much, because they don't lie to you. They just tell you they lie, but sometimes if they really want to be honest from their heart, except when we teach them to lie. But a baby doesn't lie. He just tells you if he thinks you're ugly in his own. He just look and say, "Uncle, you're ugly." I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you don't look beautiful. You know what I mean? And so that's the way they are. So they take things in without filter, right? So we have to accept first. We have to then forgive ourselves and forgive them. And this is the last part. It is possible to love from a distance. Most people don't know that.
Yeah, that's an important point.
It is very possible to love from a distance. It is possible to miss people and still not connect yourself to them. As a sign of, see, it's normal to miss people. Like I said, we're like a river, right? So it means that everything that the guy that is sitting down right here before you is not just this guy. He's every book he has read, everybody he has hugged, everybody that has kissed him, everybody that has held him, everybody that has ruffled his hair, everybody that has said, "Take, I care about you." So we are a continuation of a story. You know what I mean? So it's almost impossible not to miss toxic family members. It's impossible. But you have to get to a point where you have to choose. Which is more important, my past or my future? And this is one thing I want to say if you're watching this. You have to get to the point where you ask yourself, if you stick with these people, would they even acknowledge that you sacrificed yourself, which is not healthy to do? For them, they would never see that. In the first place, it's not healthy to sacrifice yourself. You can sacrifice things, but yourself, your self-awareness, who you are, it's your place of power. You have to have self-love. It's not healthy to do that, but even if you did that, these guys will not value it. They won't. So you have to sit down and ask yourself that real question. So first, you have to accept it. Second, you have to forgive yourself and forgive them. And you have to do something. Have you ever been with somebody in the same room who comes to you and complains? And it's like the whole world, and then you say, so what do we do about it? And they don't know what to do about it. They are not looking for a solution. They're only enjoying the fact that they are whining about it.
That's why we should focus more about the things that we have control on. And what are these things? Ourselves. People focus a lot about external factors. That's why they complain a lot, probably.
Exactly.
And people did this to me. The weather is bad. That's why I'm having such a bad day. But no, you're that vulnerable that that the weather can affect your mood, and how you treat people. So just focus more on yourself than things that you have zero control on.
Over. Good point. Good point. So if you're watching this and you think you need to walk away from an abusive relationship, please find the courage to do so. I tell you, you deserve better. You're human. You have 206 bones in your body. That's enough to walk away. That's enough. Walk away.
And also, it's important what you said about loving from a distance. That's a very good point, to be honest. It's very important.
Yes, many people don't know that's possible,
Yeah.
so they feel guilty. You see, let me maybe paint another analogy. I love analogies so much, right? Imagine that you have, you see, if a scorpion is about to drown, let's imagine the instinct of a scorpion is to sting. Even not necessarily what he wants to. That's the instinct. Now, the same way some toxic people, their instinct is to pull you down. You have to face that. They have to pull you down to feel good. It's a mechanism. It's the way they know how to live. They have to pull you down to feel good. If they don't pull you down, they don't feel good. So you have to accept that this is who he is right now. Now, we hope for change. We hope that they get to a place of healing. We hope that they get to a place where they can be transformed. But until they get there, until you're sure they get there, the truth is you will just be another statistic, another number on their list of the people that they've pulled down. And they won't even have anything to show for it. So you wasted, they wasted, everyone's wasted. But if you find the courage to say, okay, you know what? I see that this is how you are. I love you, man. I really do love you. I miss you. But I'll go up so that perhaps if you decide to come up, I can pull you up. But if you pull me down right now, we're both down. No one is going to get up. You know what I mean? So it is possible to love from a distance. It is. It doesn't mean see, control sometimes comes from the place of knowledge. When people know certain things, right, you have more power. Knowledge is power, like we say, right? But most times we say like knowledge in terms of theoretical knowledge and the application of it in solving everyday life problems, right? But it also means in abusive relationships, the more abusive people know about you, the more powerful they feel about you. That's where distance comes in. So sometimes you need to learn to say, you know what, I'm not telling you nothing. You have to watch me from a distance. It doesn't mean I don't love you. And when they feel powerless, then they accept that you are powerful and probably they can reconsider you helping them to get out of their problems. But until you find your place of power, man, you're going to go down. So ladies and gentlemen, that is what we're trying to say right now. So if you're watching from home and you find yourself in an abusive relationship, particularly tied to your biological bond, your family, your uncle, your brother, your sister, your auntie, your mother, whatever, your husband,